Do you think teachers are going to be engaging in conversation with kids on Wednesday about this? And
Yes.
what age do you think teachers will be going? Like, at what age will that start in the classroom? Do you think for the first grader, for example, it's too young that they'll be doing it? What do you expect on that? And I piggyback on that we've had a lot of corporate clients that we work with say that they already have a lot of requests for Wednesday off, and that they're not doing there. A lot of companies are doing no meeting days on Wednesdays to try and do it so that there's not tension, so that there's not conflict in meetings on Wednesdays. So, as much as you can shed light on this for both the teacher angle and potentially for the work angle, would be great.
So the work angle, I would just say very honestly, you can cancel everything on Wednesday, but what are you going to do on Thursday then? Because just realistically thinking and planning, great, everyone has Wednesday to digest the news, to breathe, but I'm not sure we're going to know anything more then, right? We might know some of the response by then, but then make a plan for Thursday. How are you going to make sure that there's not conflict if you have multiple political opinions in your office, which if you're more than a couple people, you're probably going to have? What are you going to do if you have employees who want to be going out and participating in some of whatever might unfold, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to make a plan of what happens Thursday, what happens Friday, what happens next week. Because it very possibly is going to feel like we were, it's going to be ongoing. So making that plan, I think, will be really helpful. Do I think teachers will be talking about this on Wednesday? Yes. I think it's a teacher's job to talk about things that are happening in our country, the political process, right? This is how we do elections. This is what the electoral colleges are. All of that information are things that are taught to our kids. So yeah, I think teachers are going to be talking about it. How? I don't know. I think it's going to depend on the teacher. I think it's going to depend on the school. I think it's going to depend on the school district. I think it's going to depend on the relationship of that particular teacher with their kids. I can imagine that as young as preschool teachers are going to be talking about it, because 3-year-olds know about the election and they're going to ask and they're going to want to know. I mean, I know when we were in the midst of all of the social justice movements, all of that was going on with George Floyd, I know that I talked to kindergarten and preschool teachers who had kids asking questions. I talked to preschool teachers who wanted to open the conversation to their kids, because when we teach preschoolers about social justice, then they grow up to be amazing humans, right? And so they were like, well, A, how do I talk about this appropriately? And B, how do I answer when they ask me who's George Floyd and why is everyone saying their name? How do I as the teacher answer that? And I think this is going to be the same kind of experience, that kids are going to show up in class, whether that's virtual or in person, and asking questions and want to know. And teachers are hopefully going to be, I think many, many, many teachers are prepared for that, are thinking about that, are scared themselves about that. How do I speak about this and have my own feelings? I think that's certainly a conversation happening in the world of education. So you as a parent need to tell your kids what you want them to know before they go to school. You need to make sure that you are not criticizing whatever the teacher is saying, because you and the teachers are on the same page, even if you're having different conversations. And remember that that teacher is doing the best they can, given the circumstance that they are in. And so if your kids know from you ahead of time what happened, what's going on, all of those big feelings they got to process with you, you can then ensure that they're getting the message that you want them to get. If there are other things happening in the world, have them hear it from you, because they will hear it from other kids, no matter what their age is.